Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. We have a tradition in my house where we make commander decks for family members on their birthday. So, since today is my birthday, we will be making me a deck list. But funds are tight, so we'll have the deck be a budget list. Today's video will be a $100 budget Inalla Archmage Rtualist deck. Okay, I lied. It's $103. There were a couple of key cards that I just couldn't cut. Close enough for government work, though. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Inalla Archmage Rtualist is a 5-mana 4/5 legendary human wizard with Eminence. Eminence is a keyword that allows certain effects to happen if the creature with Eminence is on the battlefield or in the command zone. In Inalla's case, whenever a non-token wizard enters the battlefield under our control, we may pay 1. If we do, we create a token that's a copy of that wizard. The token gains haste, but we exile it at the beginning of our next end step. Additionally, we may tap 5 untapped wizards we control to have Inalla drain an opponent for 7 life. My first ever pre-constructed deck was Inalla Archmage Rtualist, but I wasn't experienced enough at Commander to really understand how to play the deck. So now that I've been playing Commander for several years, I decided I wanted to take another crack at it. So this will be a wizard combo deck centered around several game-ending combos. We could just build a regular Grixis Spellslinger deck, but I wanted a deck where Inalla was the primary win con. We'll need to generate a ton of wizards so that we can activate her ability and drain our opponents to death. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. I know I'm sponsored, so you may not believe me, but Ultimate Guard katanas are the best sleeves on the planet. They have gorgeous colors like these black ones, are durable and long-lasting, and an absolute joy to shuffle. Let Ultimate Guard protect your cards with katanas. Pick yours up today at your local game store or order them on Amazon. Link down below. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming with my son over on Musings by Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. For lands, we're running Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Crumbling Necropolis, Drowned Catacomb, Dragon Skull Summit, Sulphur Falls, Sunken Hollow, Smoldering Marsh, Ferris Lake, Underground River, Sulphurous Springs, Shivan Reef, Choked Estuary, Foreboding Ruins, Frostboil Snarl, Tainted Isle, Tainted Peak, Is It Boilerworks, Riptide Laboratory, Bajuka Bog, Myriad Landscape, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, 5 Islands, 3 Swamps, and 4 Mountains. Not bad for a budget deck. Our mana ramp consists of Ruthless Technomancer, Ashnod's Altar, Molten Echoes, Burnt Offering, Stormkiln Artist, and Peregrine Drake for thematic ramp, as well as Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Dominance, Talisman of Indulgence, Talisman of Creativity, Dimir Signet, Rakdos Signet, Izzet Signet, Mindstone, and Chromatic Lantern as mana rocks. I really wanted to include Culling the Weak as well, but I wasn't able to fit it in the budget. For card advantage, we're running Persist, Archaeomancer, Azami Lady of Scrolls, Archmage Emeritus, Archmage of Runes, Tribute Mage, Kess Dissonant Mage, Serum Visionary, Arcanist the Omnipotent, Arcane Epiphany, Factor Fiction, Victimize, and Windfall. A good mix of graveyard recursion and traditional card draw. Our interaction and spot removal consists of Aether Channeler, Venser Shaper Savant, Abrade, Bedevil, Lightning Bolt, Insult Injury, Chaos Warp, Hero's Downfall, Rakdos Charm, Feed the Swarm, Withering Torment, Counterspell, Negate, Wizard's Retort, An Offer You Can't Refuse, and Invert Polarity. A good mix of counter magic, spot removal, and thematic shenanigans, as it should be. For board wipes, we've got Blasphemous Act, Evacuation, and Aetherize. I wanted to include Toxic Deluge as well, but there were other pricey cards that were key combos to this deck. The core of our deck consists of Bloodline Necromancer, Dualcaster Mage, Narumiha Master Wizard, Timestream Navigator, Archmage of Echoes, Naban Deniviteration, Harmonic Prodigy, and Thousand Year Storm. Supporting our plan, we've got Ghostly Flicker, Displace, Twin Flame, Conjurer's Closet, Illusionist Stratagem, Rite of Replication, Saw in Half, and Step Through. What? I told you we wanted a lot of wizards. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 50 mana sources split between 35 lands and 16 pieces of ramp. A little high, but some of our combos get expensive. 13 pieces of card advantage, 16 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Bajuka Bog and Rakdos Charm, several Sudden Eye win cards, which I will explain. Okay, so to kill the table with Inalla, we need roughly 90 wizards. There isn't a spell that puts that many wizard tokens on the battlefield, so we'll have to do it another way. First of all, we'll need a flicker effect that targets 2 permanents. Oh look, we have 3 of them in Ghostly Flicker, Displace, and Illusionist Stratagem. Be careful running this combo with Illusionist Stratagem though, because you can deck yourself. We also need a wizard with Flash that copies a spell when it enters the battlefield. Good thing we have 2 in Dualcaster Mage and Narumiha Master Wizard. To start the combo, we cast our instant. For this example, we use Ghostly Flicker. We target 2 of our permanents that we want to flicker. Holding priority, we then cast our creature, Dualcaster Mage for example. Assuming Dualcaster Mage resolves, it enters, and as an enters trigger, copies Ghostly Flicker. The copy of Ghostly Flicker targets Dualcaster Mage and any of our lands. The copy resolves, the land and Dualcaster Mage enter. We tap the land for mana and use Dualcaster Mage's enters trigger to copy Ghostly Flicker. We now have infinite mana. We can spend this mana to pay for Inalla's Eminence trigger, creating infinite copies of Dualcaster Mage. The new copies will all copy Ghostly Flicker, allowing us to flicker a bunch of lands, which can then give us the mana to cast Inalla from the command zone, and then tap them all down with Inalla to kill the table. Nice and simple. At least, it's simple compared to the combo I wanted to include, but was unable to. So, the drawback to the Dualcaster Mage Ghostly Flicker combo is that you need at least 6 mana to pull it off. 8 if it's with Narumiha and Illusionist Stratagem. But what if we could win the game with only 4 mana? Well, if we don't mind the extra monetary investment, we could cast Spellseeker, and then put Inalla Archmage Ritualist's trigger on the stack. We tutor up Culling the Weak and cast it, sacrificing Spellseeker and adding 4 black mana. We resolve and pay for Inalla's trigger, leaving us 3 black mana, creating a token copy of Spellseeker, and tutoring Unearth. We cast Unearth, targeting Spellseeker, and leaving us with 2 black mana. We use 1 of our remaining black mana to activate Inalla again, creating another token copy of Spellseeker. We then tutor up 2 more cards, one from Spellseeker and one from the copy, and find Burnt Offering and Finale of Promise. We use our remaining black mana to cast Burnt Offering, sacrificing Spellseeker, adding 1 black and 2 red mana. We use that mana to cast Finale of Promise for 1, targeting Unearth and Culling the Weak. We sacrifice a Spellseeker token to Culling the Weak, adding 4 black mana, and unearth the original Spellseeker. We activate Inalla's ability and once again have 2 Spellseeker triggers. We tutor up Entomb and Reanimate. We Entomb and then Reanimate Archaeomancer, leaving a single black floating. We use Archaeomancer's ETB to return Burnt Offering from our graveyard to our hand. We cast Burnt Offering on Archaeomancer, adding 4 black mana to our mana pool. We resolve the Inalla trigger all the way back from when Archaeomancer entered, and return Reanimate to our hand. We then reanimate Archaeomancer and resolve the Inalla trigger, retrieving Burnt Offering and Finale of Promise with a single black floating. We sacrifice Archaeomancer to Burnt Offering, adding 2 red and 2 black. We then cast Finale of Promise where X equals 1, targeting Entomb and Reanimate. We Entomb Shallowgrave and reanimate Archaeomancer, leaving 1 black floating. We resolve the Archaeomancer trigger, returning Burnt Offering from our graveyard to our hand. We sacrifice Archaeomancer to Burnt Offering, adding 4 black mana. We resolve the Inalla trigger, making a copy of Archaeomancer with haste and 3 black mana floating. We return Shallowgrave with the token copy's ETB. We then cast Shallowgrave targeting Archaeomancer, leaving 1 black floating. We then repeat the final loop, return Burnt Offering and Shallowgrave to our hand with Archaeomancer and the copy made by Inalla, sacrificing the non-token Archaeomancer to Burnt Offering to pay for the loop, until we have enough hasty tokens to overwhelm our opponents, or use to trigger Inalla to kill the table. The fun part is, even though this is a 10-card combo, we only need 1 card in hand to get it started: Spellseeker. However, the reason it's not in this deck is because Shallowgrave is $50. And while it may be a reserve list card, there are 3 other pieces in the combo, Spellseeker, Culling the Weak, and Entomb, that are all over $10. I know this combo isn't in the deck, but I wanted you to be aware of it because it is both fun and interesting. But a combo we do have in the deck is Bloodline Necromancer and Ruthless Technomancer. We need Ruthless Technomancer in our graveyard for this plan to work. We cast Bloodline Necromancer, triggering Inalla and itself. We hold priority and resolve the Bloodline Necromancer trigger first. We return Ruthless Necromancer to the battlefield, once again adding 2 more triggers to the stack, its own and Inalla's. We resolve Ruthless Technomancer's trigger, sacrificing Bloodline Necromancer and adding 3 treasures. We spend one of our treasures to resolve Inalla's second trigger, creating another copy of Ruthless Technomancer. It enters. We sacrifice the non-token copy of Ruthless Technomancer, creating 2 more treasure tokens, bringing us up to 4. We use one of those treasure tokens to finally resolve the original Inalla trigger, creating a token copy of Bloodline Necromancer. When that token enters, it returns the original Bloodline Necromancer to the battlefield, creating another trigger and triggering Inalla. We then repeat this process, eventually creating an arbitrarily large number of tokens with haste and an absurd amount of treasure tokens. We then use some of those treasures to cast our commander, then activate her to win the game by draining our opponents. There are other combos in the deck, of course, but I'll leave them for you to find, or for my opponents to discover. Do you have a wizard deck? Who's your commander? What fun combos do you have in your deck? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Borgie, Nazwin, Konga, Aaron, Chris, Robert, William Pye, Kazaris, Booksu, Patrick, Naffy, Noodle, Tiz, Art, Richard, Devon, Sint, Boomy, Freya, and Jackie. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.